Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. Today's music is by myself, Violet Oscillation. I have a release coming up on September 30th, or if you're from the future, it's already out. So go download it, go pre-order it, wherever time, space, place you're from. You can get that song. It's called A Nation of Pilots, and it was mastered by Simon Scott of Slowdive. You should also check out Abstract and Sound, who have not only released their debut single In Abstract World, they have another song, Shoegaze, which is out on October 6th. Again, mastered by Slowdive Simon Scott. The single will be rotating on the radio. We're going to be on various radio stations, so definitely follow our socials so you can see all the places we're being played and all the places we're going to play. As always, for our releases, we use distrokid to upload everything. We wouldn't recommend you use something if we didn't trust it in ourselves. So distrokid is something we use often. They just came out with a new distro vids service. You can use it to get your music on various video streaming services, and you can get the Vivo mark on YouTube. That Vivo mark also means people can watch your music videos on stuff like Samsung and LG smart TVs and Comcast and other services. You can upload an unlimited amount of music videos each year, and you get 100% of the earnings from your music videos. Definitely worth checking out, and definitely check out the distrokid link in my description. You get 7% off distrokid when you sign up. Really cool service, so I definitely recommend it for any independent musician. If you enjoy this film, please do consider supporting us through Patreon. These films take a lot of work, so any support we can get from you guys is always appreciated. As always, the visuals are all original by myself, and I'm always open for visual commissions, so just DM me on Insta or email me on the email that's down below or on your screen now. Today's video is on Spacemen 3, a band that had a profound impact on many shoegaze bands such as Slowdive, and one that would go on to spawn the highly successful project Spiritualized. This video is going to be a documentary slash one of our map videos, which we really enjoyed doing. Check out a map of Slowdive, a map of shoegaze, a map of Radiohead, and more geographical goods to come, I guess. Spacemen 3 formed in 1982 in the town of Rugby in England. The town is perhaps most famous for the sport which shares its namesake, with rugby being invented in Rugby in 1823. Today, however, I'm going to be looking at a band with much more heady ambitions, and that is Spacemen 3. After Peter Member and Jason Pierce met at Rugby Art College on Clifton Road in the town, the band would go on to record a demo tape at a home studio after having only played 10 shows. The tape, titled For All the F***ed Up Children of This World We Give You Spacemen 3, was released in 1984. Kemba has described the recordings as really dreadful, and while they are incredibly lo-fi, songs such as Walking with Jesus and Things Will Never Be the Same hint at a psych band in waiting. Around 84 and 85, the band regularly played shows on the Rugby, Northampton, Coventry circuit, including Northampton's Black Lion pub. In 1985, after a show at a leisure centre in Coventry to a grand audience of 10, the band decided to hone in on their sound. It was this experimentation that brought Psychedelia to the forefront. Psychedelia? Is that how you say it?
I think so.
It was this experimentation that brought psych rock sounds to the forefront of the band's sound, with Kemba and Pierce purchasing new guitars and amps that featured distortion and tremolo, effects that would become key to the band's signature sound. They released their debut album proper, Sound of Confusion, in 1986. This album had all the hallmarks of a good psych band: tambourines, swirling delay effects, and droning melodies. Recorded on a budget that was less than £1,000, the band actually had to abandon the recording of the title track, Walking with Jesus, Sound of Confusion, which they'd previously recorded in that first demo tape. Nevertheless, the album would chart at number 2 in the UK indie charts, with its sound drawn comparisons to the Stooges. In 1987, the band began work on their sophomore effort, The Perfect Prescription. Recorded at VHF Studios near Rugby, the band practically lived in this studio for 8 months, having invested their own money into upgrading the studio's facilities. The result was an album described by Kemba as Spacemen 3 in bloom midsummer before the seeds were scattered. Here the band really found their sound, with songs such as Walking with Jesus finally finding their final form. Other highlights include Transparent Radiation, which is a string-infused cover of the Red Crayola song. After their record label suffered financially, the band decided to release a live album in 1988 in order to fulfill their contractual obligations. This album performance would feature live versions of previously released material. Following their departure from their record label, Spacemen 3 would find themselves in close proximity to one of the UK's most prominent indie labels, that is Creation Records, who were based in London, a label that would later house a wide breadth of shoegaze acts. However, Spaceman 3 ultimately didn't sign to the label, opting instead to conduct business with Gerald Palmer, a Northamptonshire businessman. This arrangement saw the businessman gain ownership of all the future master tapes from the band's sessions in exchange for the financing of the band. Having acquired a Vox Starstream guitar in 1987, an instrument which contained built-in effects, Kemba would go on to mold Spaceman's 3 sound around a percussive tremolo effect found within that instrument. Notable songs utilising this effect can be found on the band's Playing with Fire album, with one song, Repeater, paying direct homage to the Vox's guitar's signature effect. Spaceman 3's third album was once again predominantly recorded at VHF Studios in Rugby, after a sound engineer at a studio they had been recording at in Cornwall accidentally wiped most of the band's recordings from the sessions there. Notably for us shoegazers, it was around this time that the band would be supported by none other than My Bloody Valentine at a show in London. It's around this time that the band quote-unquote became the indie phenomenon of late 88, although at one show only Kemba and bassist Carruthers performed as Pierce spent the evening at the bar with his girlfriend Kate Radley. It was around this time that fractures started forming in the band for incidences just like this. Pierce was tied up in his infatuation with Radley, leaving Kemba dismayed at his lack of effort in the band. Things would culminate in a tense 4-hour meeting to decide the songwriting credits for the tracks on Playing with Fire, with Pierce even threatening to pull his songs from the album. It's this kind of infighting that would eventually lead Kemba to focus on his Sonic Boom solo project, and Pierce to form the highly successful Spiritualized. I'll close this video off with a quick note. I think the UK is a really cool melting pot of musical culture. It's amazing how many of our favourite bands crossed paths over the years, whether that be MBV supporting Spaceman 3 or Slowdive recorded in the same studio in Bath that Spiritualized did. I find these kinds of stories really interesting. Look out for more videos like this in the future, and check out others in this style, like What is Shoegaze, Who is MBV, and a map of Radiohead, all on our channel now.